Future Market has thousands of board games at discounted prices. Click the direct link below to see all of those discounted games. Hello my friends, it's the Game Boy Geek here. Later this week, the Essen Spiel fair is going on, the largest, arguably, board game fair in the world convention. And thanks to Board Game Geek and Eric Martin and team for putting together a ridiculously huge list of more than 1,000 games that are going to be for sale there. I recently did my most anticipated games, my top 10. You can click up there to watch that. This one is going to be the top 10 games at Essen. Ones that I've actually already played, that I already know that are great. These are ones that are relatively new, if not launching at Essen. Spoiler, my number one is launching at Essen, and it is going to be the hit of the show. I can guarantee you that. Stay tuned for that. So let's go.
Number 10.
All right, first one here is Ensemble. This is sort of a party-ish game from Era's Games. This I would describe as like it's the cooperative game The Mind meets like an interpretive card game like Mysterium or Dixit. Because it's a cooperative game, you're trying to essentially get all the way to the last level, and there's going to be cards out there that have interesting artwork, and everyone is simultaneously but secretly selecting, which card goes with this. For example, you see this fish here. There's a fish tank in the bottom, in the tank at the bottom. Now, which one do you think it's most like? Is it most like the family because maybe it's in the family room? Is it most like the telephone booth because it's in a small kind of claustrophobic space? How about this Christmas tree? Which one? Is it maybe it was a gift? Which one? So you're going to guess, and hopefully you all get it right. You go to the next level, and now there's more cards to think about. Also, it scales well with player count, so you can have a certain amount of screw ups before it's wrong, type of a thing. And again, like The Mind, every level you get more, you have more. It gets harder and harder. What about the sword and the anvil? Does it match the horse because that's like the knight's horse, or maybe is it the champagne because it's a celebration of winning the battle? Those are the types of things that you're thinking here. Very clever game. Again, kind of like The Mind meets Dixit, and Ensemble.
Number 9.
All right, this next one is a real-time cooperative game in which you're going to be working together to deactivate quicksand and a dangerous trap of gears. So now you can't just race as quickly as possible, even though you want to, but you must avoid setting off the traps. Now, when you play a color or shape card, you get to flip all of the sand timers of that color or shape. And so maybe you're doing more than one timer at the time. If the sand timer runs out, you flip it and place it next to the board. And then if someone plays a sand time card again, you can recover that timer by flipping it and placing it back onto the gear. Now, essentially what you're trying to do is get all of them. So you're trying to get all of those timers to the end and to win. And it's really interesting because when playing this, it's real time, but it's not like, quick, hurry up, let's everyone just go, 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 go. No, this is a more thoughtful where you're pausing, you're waiting, you're calm. When's the right time to do this? Now I'm gonna play this card. Oh wait, now you gotta go quick, play an orange. Okay, hold on a second. Do you have this? Do you have this? No, I have a red. I have a square, I have a circle. Do I have a brown? Do I have you're talking about, okay, well, you can play this, and I can play this, I can play this. Okay, wait, let's wait. Like, you play this. Okay, now wait a minute, let's let that timer, stuff like that. It's got more of ebb and flow than a real-time game typically has. And there's like 21 different levels that you can go to after as you get better to beat. So that is Quicksand from Horrible Games.
Number 8.
This next one is an older game that I've played multiple times, and it's coming back. It's been out of print for a long time. It's Nikosu Dice. This is a trick-taking game for 3 or 4 players. Now, you're dealt cards, but then you also then draft rolled dice. And on your turn, you can either play a card, which are sort of secret, they're in your hand, or you can play a die, which everyone can see your dice. So you have some info about what the others have because you can see what dice they have in front of them. Essentially, they can play a die as a card, essentially. Now, if you take as many tricks as your last die value, then you get to score big bonus points, which is really interesting. So you're playing cards, you're playing dice. As it gets closer, as you get less and less dice in front of you, you're narrowing down how many tricks you're going to win based upon the different numbers of dice you have in front of you. So if I have like a 1, 2, and a 3, if I win 1, 2, or 3 tricks, I'll get bonus points. But as I start to play those dice, I'm narrowing it down, and I narrowed down my last dice of 3. I got to win 3 tricks exactly. There's 3 levels of trump. Like if you have the exact number and color, that's the highest trump. Then if you have any suit that's the same number as that trump, or if you have the same color. So it's like this is an interesting 3 level of trump that it's hard to explain without showing it to you, but it's got a very interesting trump mechanism that I haven't seen anywhere else. And the whole dice drafting and trying to win, get the right amount as you're going down. Really good game, clever. I'm glad it's coming back, Nikosu Dice.
Number 7.
Next one is World Wonders. This is from Arcane Wonders. This is a game where you're going to be building your own city. You're going to be building wonders, these huge, awesome wooden bits that you're going to be placing. But you're also building other buildings that are sort of different shapes, and you're going to be sort of Tetrising them out on your city. But to get those, you're going to be sort of bidding, and you're going to be spending resources to get them, but you're also going to be gaining resources from those buildings as well to buy other buildings later. So it's a little bit of an economic game where you're moving up different tracks of different resources, and you're gathering these things, but you're also using those to bid on different buildings that come out. It's very interesting because you're trying to get the buildings, and then people are outbidding you, but then you're trying to figure out which one to get. There's also different goals that you're kind of going after, so trying to get different buildings, different spots. Each of those different wonders score in different ways. You're going to be building roads out so you can actually build more buildings further into your city. If you like sort of city building game and spatial things and cool components, a little bit of bidding, resource management, it's a really cool game, World Wonders. Number 6. Okay, this next one is a 2-player abstract game from Matago. This game has you can have a randomized setup, so every game feels very different, and there's no luck. Now, this game, you are basically placing sort of tiles out there. One player's orange, one player's blue. Now, you can basically win in 3 different ways. You're trying to either connect 2 opposite sides of the board in an unconnected chain of your color, or you're trying to essentially connect 4 galaxy pieces in an unbroken chain of your color, or you're trying to force your opponent to connect 3 black holes with their color. It's a very interesting game. Simple. On your turn, place a tile. That's it. But this game, oh my gosh, it is thinky, it is brain burnery, unlimited setups, so the game has got unlimited replayability. It is just simple. It's one of those games that you can teach to someone in literally a minute. But whoa, the decision space and the depth and the tactics that you do here and the decoys and it's got a ton of depth. If you like 2-player abstract games, you've got to check this one out, Orion the Duel. Number 5. 5 is The Rich and the Good from Ares Games. Now, in this game, you're stockbrokers, and it's during the Industrial Revolution, and you're trying to make as much money as possible by also coming across as good citizens by donating money to charity. Now, in this game, you get to see cards that are manipulating the stock market between both of your neighbors. So you have one to your left, one to your right, and the player on that side can also see those. Now, you're going to be manipulating the market once by a full value of a card, like moving it up 6 or down 3. But when you take it from the other side, from the other neighbor, it's going to half the value. So you're trying to manipulate the market and move things up that you want to buy or that you've already bought, move things down that maybe you've already sold, things like that. But the trick also is that each round you need to be giving away some money, because at the end of the game, even if you have the most money, if you gave away the least to charity, you can't win. So it's a very interesting aspect where you're trying to have the most money, but you're trying to give enough away so that you are still eligible for the win. Streamlined mechanisms, pretty quick, 30 to 45 minutes, but great stock market game, and that is The Rich and the Good. Number 4. This next one is called After Us. This is from Catch Up Games at Essen. In North America, it's coming out through Pandasaurus. This is sort of like a deck building game and a resource management game. It's kind of like nothing else though, because essentially what you're doing is you're flipping over 4 cards, and you are essentially rearranging those cards in any order to line up boxes so that they complete a full box. And when you do, you're going to be going left to right, top to bottom, gathering a bunch of resources, then spending those resources to get points, to get other resources, and at the end of the round, you can spend those resources to then go ahead and buy better cards in a deck building mechanism. And as you get them, they're going right on your deck, so you can use them next round. And so you're building this engine, you're building these better cards, and you're trying to figure out the most efficient way to get points. And the different types of cards that you can buy are different types of apes. And the different types of apes do different things and cost different resources. So you've got some strategies there, some synergies, and it's sort of an engine building, deck building game with some pattern building elements that is really cool. The game is pretty solitaire though. Not a lot of interaction, but I've done a full video review for this, so you can check that out as well after us.
Number 3.
This next one is a card game, mostly for 2 players. You can play with more, with 4, but it's really designed as a 2-player game. One of the co-designers is Richard Garfield, who did Magic the Gathering and a million other great games. This is called Mind Bug, but this is the new sets. They have 2 new sets coming out. Mind Bug, Beyond Evolution, and Beyond Eternity. Both of these are standalone. The original one was called Mind Bug First Contact. So now you have 3 sets that can be bought and played on their own, but you can also use to mix together. So they're launching 2 more sets there. I have played the Beyond Evolution, and the cool thing about that one is there's now cards out there where you get a card, it's a level 1, and you can do certain things to swap that card out for a level 2, and later swap that card out for a level 3, so it's a super powerful version of itself, which is really cool. Also, it adds the ability to just actually do actions instead of just playing a card or attacking. Now, instead of that, you can actually do an action on a card, so there's a little more mechanisms in this version. These ones I'd say are probably not the best one to start with, but if you have Mind Bug, there's no reason to not get these. If you don't have Mind Bug, you should absolutely go by the booth and play it and try it. I guarantee you're going to want to buy it afterwards. Get First Contact and maybe 1 or both of these as well. That is Mind Bug, and this is from Nerd Lab Games.
Number 2.
Number 2 is Sunrise Lane from Horrible Guild. This is a Reiner Knizia game. It was a re-implementation of Rondo, which was one of the few recommended games to Spiel des Jahres the year it came out many years ago. I've done a full review of this if you want to check it out. This game is like Ticket to Ride and New York 1901 from Blue Orange Games had a baby. Very streamlined game. Essentially, you're building networks of buildings in a neighborhood in Sunrise Lane. You're essentially just playing cards and placing buildings, but you can play as many as you want, and you can chain together big turns, because as you're playing cards, you're also going to be playing multiple cards of the same color to build up. And as you build up, you're essentially doubling or tripling the amount of points you'll get. Really cool. You're, again, play cards and place buildings, and you're finding the right time to place the right buildings in the right spots for the biggest opportune time. But there's also some end game goals that you're trying to shoot for, like having the tallest building in a specific neighborhood, or having the most in the entire, longest contiguous chain anywhere, or having the most buildings in a specific neighborhood. Lots of different sort of end game goals. If you like streamlined mechanisms like Ticket to Ride, you want something short, 40-ish minutes, 30, 40 minutes, that has a lot of feelings of Ticket to Ride, but in a very different package. Sunrise Lane from Horrible Guild.
Number 1.
Before we get to the moment you've been waiting for, I wanted to let you know that Game Toppers Kickstarter 4.0 is coming soon. Well, they'll have 10 new thematic game mats, including Vincent Dutray's Lost Worlds Jungle Mat, and new accessories and storage solutions, along with custom thematic art on rails of the Game Toppers, and they're giving away the new Young Sherlock Game Topper package, which is great as a movable coffee table, children's gaming table, and for puzzles. Scan the QR code or go to GameToppersLLC.com to enter and win now. All right, my number 1, I have done sort of a review-ish first impressions video of it. You can check that out. It's called Nucleum. This is from Board and Dice. This is from designers Simone Luciani and David Terzi. I had the pleasure of playing this with the designer David Terzi at the Gathering of Friends convention earlier this year. I finally just received my copy. I'm actually playing it again tonight at the time that I shoot this video. This is a heavy Euro game. I'm not typically fond of heavy Euro games, but I think this is probably the best one I've ever played. It's basically like Brass meets Barrage, if you can imagine that. It is great. Tons of interaction, lots to think about, asymmetrical technologies each game that you can, it comes as a set that makes you different from everyone else, but everything you do on the board affects everybody else. You can use other people's rails to move coal and nucleum in to power different buildings and stuff. Your route building, action selection, action upgrading, economics, tracks. Oh my God, it's got, if you're a heavy Euro player, this is gonna be the hit of the show for sure. And I'm gonna say by this time next year, it is in the top 10 of Board Game Geek. I mean, it's that good. It's amazing. Go check out my review, and that is Nucleum. All right, hopefully I have highlighted some games that maybe you weren't aware of, or maybe you were aware of them, but now you've learned a little bit more about them. So I hope that I've been helping you find the next board game you'll love. This has been the Game Boy Geek, breaking down barriers, growing relationships with board games, and helping you find the next one you'll love. Game Toppers not only transforms your existing table into a high-quality gaming solution, but they now offer full leg kits and dining cover solutions for the full table application. Paired with over 20 styles of thematic game mats in 11 different sizes from notable board game artists like Vincent Dutray, collapsible cup holders, and real cool accessories, experience what thousands of other gamers enjoy by upgrading every game you play with a Game Topper system. Save hundreds of dollars on Game Topper package deals that are in stock now for immediate shipping at GameToppersLLC.com or click the link below.